Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Andreea Gleeson, co-head and chief revenue officer of TuneCore, and today we are going to cover a topic of how hits are made by fans and not decided in boardrooms, which is what I like to call a true leveling of the playing field. So to cover this topic with me are TuneCore artist Charlotte Sands, who has had several viral hits, and industry veteran David Nathan, who has been in the business at prominent record labels like Columbia and Republic Records. It used to be that audiences looked to music critics and DJs to dictate what music to listen to, but today we're not seeing that anymore. And these days, music discovery is happening through word of mouth on social media platforms, really being the vehicle for this. Music discovery is taking place through Instagram, Facebook, IG Reels, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Clubhouse, and even Twitter. And to give a little sense of the scale of how these platforms have been exploding, TikTok, for example, has today 689 million users internationally with 6 billion lifetime downloads of the TikTok app. Users spend on average about 52 minutes per day on the app, with 90% of all TikTok users accessing the app on a daily basis. It's now available in 155 countries and in 75 languages. And in the last 18 months, the number of US adults that are using TikTok has grown 5.5 times. Instagram Reels, which is a TikTok-like experience that's immersed into the world of Instagram, launched last year in July when it was rolled out in India after TikTok was banned in the country. And the following month, Reels officially launched simultaneously in 50 countries, including the United States, Canada, and the UK. And finally, the newest short form video platform that has made its debut this year is YouTube Shorts. It actually launched last year with an initial trial run in India as well. And since then, it has resulted in over 3.5 billion views per day. And since then, it expanded in the US earlier this year, and the YouTube Shorts player has surpassed 6.5 billion daily views. What makes, in my opinion, Shorts kind of a unique platform is that it is embedded into YouTube Music directly, which is creating this immersive music discovery experience where fans can immediately connect with artists whose music they like without even leaving the platform, thus allowing music to be discovered organically. So through platforms like these, fans are able to unearth music they would not have discovered otherwise. And so when we say that music discovery is happening on social media, what do we exactly mean by that? It all really started with the addition of the music library in the social platforms of like TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Creators are using the music libraries to add moods to their posts and their videos by including like a song. So for example, let's say that you're out on vacation, you see a beautiful sunset, you want to post that picture, and you look up in the music library to find music that will match that. A really popular song for sunsets in the music library became Sunset Lover by Petit Biscuit. So you can see how these like moments in our lives are really being matched with themed music and really creating a popularity that wouldn't have existed otherwise. Social media platforms are working with distributors like TuneCore to get the music into the libraries and then in turn pay the artist when the song is being used or consumed in the videos or the photo posts. Then something really is starting to happen that's very special. As the song builds in virality, it starts to gain traction in the download and stream platforms like Spotify and Apple. For me, it was really, really noteworthy that when our DSP partners started to ask us at TuneCore for lists of songs and artists that were popular on creator platforms like TikTok and Reels, because they wanted to use that information to inform their playlist placements. That's when I knew something was really, really shifting. And so the incredible thing is that we can see songs bubbling first on the creator platforms and essentially sometimes coming out of nowhere. And suddenly the artist is really starting to get traction both on the particular song as well as the rest of their catalog. And as they start to build their fan base, it's happening both on social media and on the digital music platforms. So to expand on this, Let's look at how this translates to from the industry and the artist perspective, which brings me to our incredible TuneCore artist, Charlotte Sands. Charlotte currently has just shy of 600,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. Welcome, Charlotte.
Hi, how are you?
Good. So happy that you're on with us. And I really want to talk about your incredible song, Dress. So for the audience who may not be familiar with it, last November, Charlotte leaked Dress onto TikTok, which is a song that she wrote about Harry Styles wearing on a dress on the cover of Vogue, which essentially challenged the historical norms of masculinity. Within hours, the song captured the attention of the audiences on TikTok when the clip from the demo went viral and now has about 1.3 million views on TikTok. And Dress has now captured over 5 million streams on Spotify. So you can kind of see that link where the virality essentially translates into what's happening in other platforms. And so Charlotte, I really would love to get a little more detail on exactly what happened with that song. But before we do you mind walking us through like what were things like before the song even went viral?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that before that whole situation happened with that song, it was just constant releases and just kind of consistent content and me just trying to kind of find ways to reach an audience. And I think it's always strong on it was harder on every platform to just kind of reach audiences that didn't already exist. So like Instagram and Twitter and all these platforms are really helpful, but they are more beneficial to like reaching the audience that you already have instead of finding new audiences. It's hard to like discover new people on those platforms, I've realized. So yeah, I was just releasing consistent music for a couple years and about every month or so, and just trying to kind of get some attention from it and just make consistent progress over the last year.
Amazing. And what did you do to really amplify the success of Dress after the song was essentially went viral?
I mean, one of the things I tried to do is just make consistent content relating to it, but also just like have a lot of interactions with everybody that commented on it and viewed it and made videos for it and all of that. I was really trying to engage as much as possible with every single person that even showed that they listened to it, and just showed my appreciation and just proved that I was paying attention to them and I was grateful, so that they felt like they were part of this process and part of this viral moment, because they're the ones who caused it. So I wanted to make sure that everyone knew that we were all into this together, and that I was like grateful for their support and like love towards me, which was so crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I pulled it up here just so that everybody can see just how bonkers everything went. Essentially, these were just some of the posts, and I think you said that you spent about 3 days spending about 5 hours a day answering 14,000 comments.
Yeah, I went through and tried to like and respond to every single comment on the video, and I still go back to that video consistently to like make sure that I'm still responding to people and bringing attention back to that video, just so people who haven't seen it or don't know that it's out like are aware that the song is out even like a month later. And just trying to circle back on that information and just make sure that everybody's aware.
So you seeded it essentially kind of just like as a clip ahead of actually releasing it. And then I'm looking at one of these comments here, like, Spotify now, please, I beg you. And I saw just like so many of these kind of comments all over the feed. I mean, how did that change your release plan for this song?
Oh, it changed everything. I mean, that song was a song that I loved, but it wasn't even I wasn't even planning on releasing it. It wasn't even something that I was planning on releasing. We didn't schedule it. It was the demo version of a song that we had finished a week before, and I had recorded vocals in 4 minutes, and I recorded like 2 tracks of vocals, and we're just like, well, we have to go, but I'll just come back another day and do final vocals, whatever. So it was in no way something that we had scheduled to release for or were planning to release. And after that video started kind of doing well, and within the first 2 hours of me posting it, had hundreds of thousands of views, we kind of just crossed our fingers and uploaded it on the back end of for like TuneCore and distribution, and we had no idea whether or not it was going to actually come out or work because it was such short notice, and it was like a day before the release date that we were hoping for. And so we kind of all just like stayed up and crossed our fingers and hoped that it would come out. And I think about 5 days or a week after I posted that video, that song was released.
Amazing. And I'm pulling up your video here where you did a follow-up post on TikTok, which was really kind of highlighting all the playlists, all of the plays you had of the song, because it pretty much instantly like went viral and started having success in all of the platforms.
Yeah, it was really, really unexpected. And yeah, I didn't even know that the song was going to actually release, let alone like be in the top 100 like charts as an independent artist. It's just really wild.
It's amazing. So how are you using TikTok and Reels and platforms like Shorts to really help you build your audience? Because you overnight essentially built an audience, both like on the music platforms and then in social media. Like, how is that kind of informed how you're doing things as you're going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I was always the kind of one who didn't want to admit that TikTok and these platforms were super beneficial and important. I was kind of the one who wanted to be like, oh no, I'll just like, I can do it without TikTok and I don't want to make videos and it's uncomfortable and all these things. And that was my relationship with it. Only a few months ago, about 3 months ago, I was having panic attacks about how to portray myself on social media. And like, and then what I realized is that there's just so many people that are just looking for content to support and people to support and music to support. And the more content you create, the more likely people are to see it, and the more likely they are to support it. Like, and so for me, I've just been trying to, it's like the perfect connection between trying to portray your personal self and me as a human and me as a person, and also connect it to me as an artist, which is a side that I don't think a lot of people have gotten to see before, and is really hard to do when you're just releasing music and people are just seeing a song on a playlist or something. They don't really understand you as a person. They don't understand your personality. It's a really cool connection to make through these platforms where you are able to kind of show your humor and you're able to connect it back to your releases. And so I've just been trying to be really authentic with who I am as a person and connecting that to me as an artist. And so people are able to connect to me and feel like they know me better. And that's my only goal.
Yeah, and obviously everybody would love to have a viral hit,
Yeah.
but it's never guaranteed, right? You can try to like line things up to encourage virality, but really it can't guarantee it. What are some of the best practices that you recommend following to make that happen?
I honestly, what I've realized for myself personally is that the things that I think are gonna go viral are the things that don't. And the things that you put the least amount of time and you're just having fun and it feels really natural and you're just being authentic and just, I think people can tell when you are just being yourself and that you're not trying to be cool or trying to do anything that's going to make you go viral. I think that's when people really want to like click the heart and like things and support them and share them with their friends. And so my only advice is to just do what makes you feel comfortable and just be yourself. And it doesn't have to be this like polished anything. Just put out content and give people a reason to follow it. And in the sense of just like people want to follow, like people want to follow people. They want to be a part of their journey. They want to know who they are. And so as long as you're just consistently putting out ways for them to connect to you, that is all you need to do. And it doesn't need to be like this really great fine-tuned like movie trailer, but yeah, just be yourself and just make stuff that makes you happy and you like.
I love that. Yeah, it's super important to not be authentic. I think people can smell it a mile away, right?
Absolutely.
It's something I see a lot of artists make the mistake of, and it's super important. I think being authentic is everything. So I just want to shift gears a little bit over to David. So, David really brings to us the industry perspective, and like I mentioned, sort of the theme of this is that the power to make hits is really moving into the listener's hands, and I think who better to kind of show that view of how that's been playing out than a music industry veteran like David himself. So, David, welcome. So happy to have you on. Do you mind just giving everybody a glimpse into your background a little bit?
Yeah, went to school in Boston, started running nightclubs and every night and working with DJs and working with the radio station, starting to network through the systems in Boston. Graduated, moved to New York, got a job working for the head of promotion at Columbia Records as a per diem, so to speak. So someone who kind of handles everything. Quickly found my way into the pop world. Worked for the head of pop promotion there for 2 years, was ready to go on the road or go out and get a job and with them. And they said, well, you're too good of an assistant, so we're going to keep you. And I said, well, then I'm going to leave. And I ended up leaving. I went to Island Records for 1 year and really realized at that moment that I needed to step back and really pay attention to what was going on in the industry and really learn and be a sponge. A friend of mine connected me to a guy named Monty Littman, who I kind of knew, but I'm not really. Interviewed with Monty a bunch of times. There were 6 people at the company at the time. It was under Seagram's and Universal Music Group, called Universal Records. I got hired there as a 7th employee and worked my way up to Executive Vice President of Promotion, 21 years at Republic Records, working with Taylor Swift, The Weeknd, Shawn Mendes, Jonas Brothers, Amy Winehouse, Ariana Grande, Florida Georgia Line, etc. But what's interesting to me is now I manage 5 different artists. I left there. I started a management company, a consulting business. And what's interesting is that now I am able to see both sides of it, right? So now I see from a major record label's perspective that actually started as a boutique label. And now I see it from a manager's perspective, working directly with 5 independent artists who were, like Charlotte, trying to do everything they can every single day to break through.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to be thoughtful of time because I think this is called a lightning round. So we're going to have to probably skip a couple of the questions we had planned, but want to get to kind of the crux of it. Like from your perspective, how has making hits changed? We've all heard the stories of like the Boardroom where they listen to 5 songs and like that one. Like, how is it different now?
Yeah, I think that the truth is, when you talk about radio, mainstream radio still has the ability to create stars and careers. But the reality is that anybody can be an artist today. With literally the flip of a switch, you can record something in your bedroom, you can put it out on the internet and give it to the world as a gift. And if it works, it's lightning in a bottle. And if it doesn't, you keep going and you turn back around and try again. TikTok and Instagram and YouTube have, completely changed the world and the way that artists are able to put themselves out on a platform. And I think it's amazing because, I think there's some stat, Spotify sees 60,000 records a day, and some of these other places are doing, 30, 40, 50,000 artists a day. It's really, really difficult to try and cut through. So you have to be different. You have to be, cutting edge. You have to do things that are going to make people love you, see you, feel you, and want to, read your lyrics and be a part of what you're doing.
Yeah. And I think it's so interesting, like back in the day, the only personality you can show is maybe in your jewel case of your CD.
Yeah.
And now you have like all the things of the world of internet, which has so much dimension, which it can be a little paralyzing, but also could be an opportunity. It's just how are you half glass full? Other question for you, curious, are the record labels using Reels and TikTok and all these, and how are they using them?
It's interesting from my perspective. Yes, they're paying attention to it 100%. I think when you have a conversation, I spoke to somebody yesterday at Republic, who's the highest guy up there essentially, and we were talking about how to break an artist and what to do these days, and the first thing out of his mind was focus on your socials. Build your TikTok, build your YouTube channel, build your Instagram following, and continue just to put out content. So yes, they're paying attention, but the biggest issue is I'm not 100% convinced that the record labels are doing any heavy lifting today. They're letting the artists, the independent artists, go do what they do. And, Post Malone is a perfect example because he, you know, was doing stuff, and Chance the Rapper, they were doing stuff on their own and really started to blow up. And then the record label, you know, cherry picked them and put them here, as opposed to artists like Taylor and The Weeknd and you know, artists that I literally, you know, blood, sweat, and tears into to make big artists out of.
Yep. Interesting how these worlds are converging, for sure.
Crazy.
And as a final thought from you, what advice would you give DIY artists?
Content. Continue. Build content. Doesn't matter what it is. People love dogs. People love, you know, personal experiences. You know, content is king, because the reality is still today, 99% of artists that try to get into the music business and be stars fail. So and that's just a proven fact. So, you know, it's really just trying to break through, stay true to yourself. I literally had a conversation yesterday with one of my artists. Is let's just keep doing it. Keep putting out content. You have a video, you have a viral video, you have a lyric video. What's coming in between it, right? Because if you drop something here and then you drop something a week later, you got to continue to put out stuff. So, you know, really just be creative, keep positive, because you're not going to win out of the gate. I promise you, like, it's very rare. And, you know, the more you put out there, the more people see you, the more people pay attention, and the more, you know, the more chances you have to get noticed and become successful.
100%. Yeah. And as you can see from Charlotte's example, her song she hadn't even planned to release, and then the listeners were like, yes, please, this one. So
she's a star. I'm so glad that I found that you guys pointed her to me, and now I found a new artist to pay attention to. She's awesome. Congratulations, Charlotte.
Thank you guys so much.
So thank you so much, Charlotte and David, for sharing your experiences with us today. And for those of you tuning in, we hope that you've gotten a bit more insight into how short form videos and social media are leveling the playing field for music discovery, and how today everyday fans have become tastemakers with the power to make songs into hits. So thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.